Hey everyone, I'm Mariana and let's talk about Annihilation. That sounds a little aggressive. The movie, of course. This is the second film written and directed by Alex Garland, who has previously done Ex Machina and also wrote screenplays for some other awesome movies. It is mostly based on the book under the same title by Jeff Vandermeer. This is the first book in a series. The series is called Southern Reach. The movie does contain elements of book 2 in the series as well, but most of the film is loosely based on this book in particular. And if you haven't seen my review of the entire trilogy, I do have that on my channel and I will link that down below. The basic premise here is that there is a team of scientists who go into this mysterious zone called Area X, also referred to as the Shimmer in the movie. They don't really know much about it because previous expeditions to Area X have lost contact with the outside world and just generally disappeared. So all they really know is that this mysterious zone is expanding and they kind of need to figure out what's going on before it starts swallowing cities. This is a sci-fi horror film with a lot more emphasis on sci-fi rather than the horror, and I thought it was very good. To begin with, Annihilation is definitely visually well done, and I'm not necessarily talking about the cinematography or the effects, which these are pretty well done as well, but what I'm referring to are the visuals within the Area X as far as the plants go and the entire setting, the animals. Some of it has to do with a whole cross-species situation. It's all very interesting and thought through, and it definitely looks like something that could exist. It looks like a place that could happen. Also, there are a lot of visual cues to pick up on that reveal the concept of the entire movie pretty early on if you know what to look for. So it is definitely shot in a very deliberate way when it comes to the details, which is something I find very interesting. Now, as far as the horror aspect goes, there are some genuinely disturbing moments in this movie. I'm not going to reveal what they are, obviously. You can enjoy that when you get there, but the one that got me the most, to be pretty vague about it, it is a little bit in the trailer. It has to do with this mutated bear and what he sounds like. That was just terrifying to me and so unsettling. This is also the kind of movie that is going to promote discussion, which is definitely a good thing in my book. If you come out of the film and you want to talk about it with your friends, you want to discuss some theories, you maybe have different interpretations, that is a good thing, and it means that the movie succeeded on some level. And this is definitely one of those. Be prepared for tons of the explained kind of videos on the internet for this one. I just knew this was going to happen as soon as I walked out of the film, and I already saw that there are some floating around. So there's that, and it does try to tackle some interesting themes such as, once again, I want to be vague and not to spoil anything, but themes that have to do with destruction through the prism of evolution and also destruction through a personal perspective. Let's just leave it at that. All of that being said, I did have some issues with this film. I don't think it's perfect. For example, probably the biggest thing for me was that some parts of this film were just unnecessarily drawn out. I think they really could have tightened up the pacing. It could have either been a shorter film or they could have put more story into it. What I'm referring to is, and I'm going to compare it to the book, and I promise you I'm not trying to be the annoying person who needs everything to be like the book, because this is a very loose adaptation of the book anyways, and I still really like it. But the way the book deals with this is you are thrown into Area X from the very beginning. The book begins with the scientists entering the area, and then it reveals the backstory and some of the explanations through memories and flashbacks. And I think that would have been a better way to deal with things here, because in the movie you get quite a large section at the beginning that is just slow setup. Now, there are flashbacks in the movie as well, but I think they could have significantly cut down on the outside world perspective just in general, because it was in some places just plain slow. It wasn't boring, but it was definitely slow. All of this kind of ties into the fact that I would have preferred more time in Area X in general. I think them being in the zone is by far the most interesting part of the entire story, so I want to see more of Area X and all of the weirdness that goes on there. And there is more that they could have used from just even the first book. I'm not even talking about the entire trilogy, just the first book. They could have done more, and it's a 2-hour film. They had time to do it. I just don't think they used their time wisely in certain parts of it, which hurt the pacing a little bit. And side note for book readers who have been asking me how close the movie is to the actual story in the book, as I mentioned, this is very loosely based on Annihilation, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I actually think this is a prime example of a movie taking the concept, taking the location and the atmosphere of the book and interpreting it in a different way while still being of good adaptation. It's more of a retelling rather than an adaptation. I think that's a better way to put it. So if you're going to go in and look for the same plot and the same elements, you may walk out frustrated, but I don't think you should do that. I think you should give the movie a try, even if you are attached to certain plot points. Give the movie a try. It is very good. Just don't obsess over the actual plot. So overall, I absolutely do recommend this film to fans of sci-fi and sci-fi horror. I think you're going to find it very interesting, and you're going to find it an interesting film to discuss. There's definitely stuff to talk about here, and I 100% recommend seeing it in a theater on the big screen, not just because it looks good, but also because this is the movie that the studio decided was not mainstream audience friendly. So please go support movies like this. Tell the studios with your money that we don't just want remakes and superhero films, unless you do just want remakes and superhero films, but why? For me, Annihilation is a confident 4 out of 5 stars. It's a very good film, and I think it will still be very interesting on repeat viewings. I am a little bit sad that we're never going to see the rest of the trilogy brought to screen, but this is made in a way that it is a standalone. They don't try to fish for a sequel. They could make a sequel out of it if they wanted to, but they're definitely not trying to set anything up. So don't worry about that if that's something that annoys you. But yeah, a really, really good film. Go see it in theaters. And that's it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, let me know what you thought of the movie, if you've seen it already, especially if you've read the book. And if you haven't read the book, let me know if you're interested in reading the book after seeing the film. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to my channel. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!